Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be introducing very shortly our guest. But first, I wanted to say hello. Misha Safran here, Joy and Resilience Coach. And this is my podcast, Coexistence, Joy, Pain, and Truth. And joy and pain and joy and the truth of all of it. So I'm delighted to have a friend of mine and coaching cohort as my guest today. So everyone, please welcome Dr. Elisa, like Melissa, Dr. Elisa Beth. I'm going to say it wrong, Haransky-Beck, but maybe Haransky-Beck. She's going to help me. She's going to totally help me. Ready, set, go. Hi.
Hi, can you see me?
I can totally see you and all your beautiful plants.
Oh, good. I'm glad because
I
see is a dark screen, but I'll just keep talking through the dark screen.
Oh, how bizarre. I wonder why you're seeing a dark screen. That's very strange. Well, let's see. Oh, she's gone. She'll be back. I don't know what happened, but she accidentally left the building. So I will share with you all real briefly until Elisa comes back. I'm very delighted to welcome Dr. Elisa here, and I'm looking forward to having her here as a guest on this podcast, Coexistence, Joy, Pain, and Truth. And I'm hoping that, oh, good, here she comes. She's coming back to us right now. There she is. Hello, welcome, Dr. Elisa Beth. How do you say your last name?
It's Haransky-Beck.
Haransky-Beck. All right.
You can just call me Elisa if you want.
Elisa, wonderful. Well, welcome everyone to Coexistence, Joy, Pain, and Truth, podcast of many different topics, even though it's under the umbrella of joy, pain, and truth. So I'm just going to share a little bit about you to our audience, Elisa, and then feel free to fill in any blanks that I may have missed. But I really want to just do your bio justice by giving a little bit of, some information. So Elisa has been a holistic eye doctor, specializing in optometric, vision, and movement therapy, and natural vision improvement since 1987. She works with those who have the diagnosis of vision-related learning issues and those on the ADD to autism spectrum and with post-traumatic brain injury. It's been over 33 years since I'm going to say it wrong again. Since Elisa graduated from optometry school. With over 20 years practicing optometry, optometric vision therapy, and somatic movement therapy, she's now an EmbodyVision Yoga teacher and a spiritual nutrition counselor. Elisa has facilitated visual and awareness shifting in both herself, which is always a good place to start, and many others in individual one-to-one sessions and in groups. And she's so excited to share her wisdom with you so you can rise also to your highest version of yourself. And let's just start by just saying hello. How are you today?
Hello, Misha Safran. Thank you so much for welcoming me to your podcast.
I'm delighted. You always have such a great smile. So that's kind of one of the requirements for being on this podcast. Yeah. So I left out some things because I'd love for you to fill in the gaps a little bit. One of the things that you did state in your bio was about this notion of, sharing joy, vitality, and love that you've known. And so please kind of impart upon us these thoughts. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to put a little comment across the screen to have other people participate, asking them, how do you bring joy into your life? So you can answer that, or you can just tell us more about sharing this joy, vitality, and love.
Well, yeah, beautiful. So I'll relate it directly to my profession, the profession of optometry. I was very classically trained. I went to 4 years of undergrad. I majored in biology and ecology. And then I went on to optometry school. And in school, in the conventional medical paradigm, the whole premise of it really is that things need to get worse, and they will get worse. And theoretically, you're going to your professional to get better, really, because you're not feeling well, or you're not seeing clearly, or there's something else going on. And it took me many years to understand that the paradigm of conventional healthcare is not really joy and gratitude and wellness. It's really the recognition of disease. And with all due respect, the medical profession is excellent at that. The diagnosis. But when it comes to the treatment part, I have morphed into the understanding that when we move back deeply within ourselves and start to really turn the mirror on ourselves, we can unlock the joy and the blessing of just being in this human form on planet Earth right now, right here. And that when we speak this way, the way that I'm speaking, that annoys sometimes people in my family, for example, it boosts my immune system. And then when I sit here across the airwaves from you, Misha, it's improving your immune system as well. And so the cadence with which I speak, the rhythm, the awareness, the beauty that I surround myself with is coming through to you and to whoever's watching now or on a replay, and so what does that have to do with, being a healthcare professional? In my view, now, everything. So I could go on and on about, so the paradigm that I've shifted into, and it was very early in my career actually, was away from what I was taught in school into, now wait a minute, things can get better. We're here, and then fast forward to 2021, we're here to rise to our highest potentials.
Yes.
And, you and I are helping each other do that because we, in my imagination, or I know I'll only speak for myself, I was raised to be staunchly independent. You can do it by yourself and you don't need anybody. Well, that's not how the biological systems of life work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my catchphrase as a child was, "I'm capable. I got this." And took that far into adulthood. Absolutely. And no, you've been placed here in a system that is completely, whoops, there's a lot of noise all of a sudden.
Yeah, I hear some static, but
that's really bizarre. All right, I might have to put on my AirPods. I'll let you talk. I'll mute myself for a second.
Okay, so there's no static, just so you should know. Yeah, so the idea of living in joy, enjoying each moment. And for me, it's become a moment to moment awareness and consciousness. And, I'm literally writing a book called Enlivening Consciousness, because what it all comes down to really is just becoming self-aware in each moment and taking self-responsibility rather than externalizing as if there's something out there that is the cause of my whatever I'm moaning about, And so it's a very different, very different way of being. And my goal in life at this moment is to, like Eckhart Tolle speaks of, living in the moment in each moment. So, hey, going with the static, I can speak through the static. There's reasons for the static. There's reasons. It gives you more awareness of your auditory system,
Yes.
Look for the gift in each moment. And, it's just truly a gift to be here.
Thank you. I was actually enjoying I'm hearing it on my end more, but I was actually enjoying and sort of not enjoying. I'm trying to figure out where I am, and it's enjoying what it sounds like a rodent kind of scratching at a little piece of cheese or trying to get through a brush or a shrub. Yeah, I don't know what it is, and that's okay. But I just, yeah. So I'm curious. Have you always felt this deep sense of love and joy and vitality? Or is there something that may have shifted for you at some point? Like, was there a moment in time that was like, oh, I want to be more aware of this?
Now, in all of my moments, I feel like it's definitely something that's evolved over time. A big watershed moment for me was when I moved from carnism, meaning eating, and I hope this could be a trigger warning for either you or others here. I'm not sure, so I apologize ahead of time. But about 9 years ago, I became vegan. And so I stopped eating dead flesh, basically fishes and cows and the milk from animals that's meant for their young and the eggs that are meant to turn into animals. And so I grew up eating all those things. Culturally, as a young Jewish woman, and I even made a mean matzo ball soup up until 9 years ago. Our children still miss it. I've learned a great vegan version now, but the transformation going from eating flesh to, I dove mistakenly, by mistake, into raw living foodism. And there was a huge, huge shift in my consciousness at that moment in time. And I'm not 100% raw living foodist. I have been 100% vegan for most of those 9 years. In the early times, I was still taking a piece of chicken or a piece of a cow, or I'm way over that at this point. But the shift in awareness and consciousness was palpable, was just unbelievable. And in this moment, I'm just feeling thankful for I live in southwestern Pennsylvania, and the buds have just really started showing themselves today, like literally today.
Yeah.
And it's just, my visual awareness, the colors, the depth, the awareness transfers to everything, and then it comes out of my pores, and that's exciting to me. And so a lot of people have been really, really extra depressed over this past year, and for me it's been the opposite. I've had more time for reflection and meditation and yoga, and I've realized this cocooning is for a reason for all of us to look inside rather than outside. We have to take care of what's outside, but first we have to take care. And it's not selfish, and it's not narcissistic. And as women, I don't know about you, but I was raised that way. You take care of everybody else first. Well, been there, done that. Thank you very much.
Done. That doesn't mean, but see, but this is the beauty that I think more and more women are learning, is that the more you take care of yourself, the better you are with other people, and in that turn, it is taking care of them as well. And I think that when women have been trained for so many years to give up of themselves, then they deplete themselves, and then you don't have this opportunity to be nourished. And if you're not nourished, you can't nourish. I mean, that old saying on the airplane, put on your oxygen mask first, right? Before you care for others.
And Mother Earth is giving us a strong message now.
Oh, indeed.
Look at that
indeed.
oxygen. What kind of oxygen is in that mask? And
right,
what's in
right.
the water in your inner ecosystem? What have you been? Do you have microplastics swimming around inside of you? Well, yeah, you do, because everybody does now. And what's the connection between those microplastics and the second largest petrochemical plant that's being built with 8,000 construction workers a half hour from where I live? Let's turn it on its head. That's not going to make plastic. That's going to make hemp biodynamic plastic. We've been visioning that, at least a core group of us, for a number of years now. What if we all changed our mind and knew that could happen tomorrow? What if we all understood that we create our reality? And I was an environmental activist. I'm saying it past tense for a decade. Founded nonprofits, I was angry, and I was meeting industry just where they were, and we were not getting anywhere. And now is our opportunity to transcend and to transmute, in my view, I think that's the
absolutely.
plan.
Yeah. I want to go back just a minute ago. You were talking about the witnessing you had of the buds first coming out, and you mentioned a lot of other things that bring you joy when you heard them or saw them, the birds, etc. And so what gets in the way of you feeling joy? Because you seem to be able to grasp it and connect to it very quickly, as do I, especially when I'm in nature. I'm immediately in my joy. But what might get in your way? And those of you listening on the podcast or the replay or even on Facebook, if you want to answer that question too, what gets in the way of feeling joy?
I guess the honest truth is me. My preconceived notions, my habit patterns that I've developed over a lifetime for way longer than I've been in, each moment. What gets in the way? Forgetting that we are such gifts to ourselves, to our families, to humanity. What gets in the way is that when there's another being, another person, usually in my family most commonly, although it could be a coach, for example, like about an hour ago, who doesn't necessarily seem to be on the same wavelength as I am. And then I have to step back and say, what is it in me that is creating so much resistance? In other words, it's not that coach who's saying, you know what, you're pitching me now, but I don't know anything about your program. And then after I hang up the call or unzoom the call, leave the call, I think, you know what, she's right. But it's fear too. It's fear that bubbles up that I might insult the program, for example, right? I don't want to, I want to be a good girl, and I don't, so I get in my own way when this fear of being my truth, it bubbles up. And so then I do this often, I'll walk away sometimes when I can, if it's my family. I'll go into another room and I'll sit myself down and I'll just start to meditate. And I'll, I've been meditating for very many years now. And so pretty quickly I can move into an empty mind. And I would say if you've never meditated before, never even thought about it, but you may be curious because I'm mentioning it, you don't have to have an empty mind, but just witnessing the thoughts, being a witness to the crazy stuff that's coming through, that's the trick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Emily Fletcher is a great person to begin with. If you've never heard of her, she's doing a great service to humanity, helping people move into meditation just twice a day for 10 minutes, or even I can't remember how she starts people. It might be 10 minutes once a day. And then these testimonials of what huge shifts have happened with people.
Yeah. Well, I think when we can definitely inspire joy and evoke joy in our lives when we're willing to stop and be present, instead of being in the back or being in the future, like right here, right now, what is going on. And that's what meditation does, right? It stills the thoughts, it stills the challenges that are ongoing and the voices that are ongoing. So when you can stop and meditate and you just pause, I can pause multiple times throughout the day and it just totally brings me back. And I am ready to receive, the joyful things and the beauty. So
And hopefully we can all take time to pause and look away, take some vision rest breaks from our
yeah,
computer screen. And
yeah,
maybe even you can appreciate, I can get up and walk away for a minute, and you can
absolutely.
appreciate, the beauty behind me. And
Yes,
I can, stretch, and I can come back to my breath, and then I can reset myself. And I invite you to do the
absolutely.
same.
Absolutely.
I dare
Yeah.
you, Misha.
No, I'm ready. I'm about you. Just watch me. Here I go. Ready? What I love is that I have a sit down, stand up desk because of my back. And so I'm constantly, moving around, turning around. Here I go. Dance, 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 dance.
I love it.
Because it does. It helps me kind of feel like the rhythm of my body is like, instead of being plastered to the chair, right? Or to the screen. And notice I didn't constantly keep my eye on you. Like, oh, let's just move around. So, Elisa, I wanted to, one of the reasons I invited you to here today is because you and I were talking about a, the program that you have coming up, and I'm really excited about it. Would you please tell people more about what that is? Because I know you're only having a small number allowed, and you don't have. I mean, you're filling up. So tell us about it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'm welcoming 12. There's a few more spots available. Um, so the course I'm offering is called Comfortable Computer Eyesight: 3 Steps in 3 Weeks, and I'm working now in this particular course with women and men who are they're high powered, high energy, and highly motivated to move into their highest self. Do you have blurry vision when you're staring at the screen? Does your head hurt? Do things get blurry when you're looking at the screen and then you're looking far away? You can't see as clearly as you used to. Are you zoomed out? Are you not functioning in the way that you're used to? And so, if you answered yes to any of those questions, or if you've been diagnosed on the ADD to autism spectrum, where you've had traumatic brain injury, um, you know, you may have underlying visual issues, eyesight issues, but our eyes are connected to our brain that are acting as an anchor. And so I myself have been through 2 rounds of vision therapy in my adult life. I have morphed, and in this course, I'm not your eye doctor. So there is also a requirement that you've had an eye exam within the past 3 months, just to be sure that your eyes are healthy inside and out, that you don't have a brain tumor that is causing your blurry vision or your double vision. But then after that, I'm happy to work with you.
Okay. Okay. And so can they, I mean, it's hard for people to just say, yeah, sign me up. Are they able to meet with you and speak with you to determine whether this is the right thing for them?
Absolutely. I literally have 2 spots left tomorrow morning Eastern to jump in for a free 20-minute consultation where we'll look directly at what your particular issues are and see if you're a great fit for this program. And I have a long career, so we will come to that determination fairly quickly, but you'll also leave with some tools and tips for natural vision improvement, no matter what your situation is, whether or not you decide to enroll in the program.
Fantastic.
I'm a little bit biased. I think it's for everybody, but it may not be for you yet. So I understand.
Right. Right. Well, for those of you who are watching live on YouTube right now, I did put that link into the comments so that you can book that appointment. And those of you watching on Facebook, or listening to the replay, watching the replay, I'll have that in the comments as well. I believe those of you on Facebook, I believe I put the link in the description. And this 20-minute consultation is a gift. So I would, we value each other's time, and yet Elisa's giving this as a free 20-minute consultation. So I want everybody to be aware of it, because I think it's a wonderful opportunity. We've been in a year of absolute standstill, screen plastered to the eye, eyes plastered to the screen, screen plastered to the eyes. I could backwards. And I think that this opportunity to invest in yourself, take care of yourself, and really find some healing then helps promote the other piece of your joy, bringing that joy up and out. So yeah,
I'm getting
thank you for
goosebumps
sharing
as
that.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I love seeing all your plants and your peace sign behind. I changed my language. I want to be better at caring for plants, but most of my plants typically don't last. So I'd rather just leave them in the wilderness where they thrive better, at least, than in my hands. So I'm proud.
I would encourage you, Misha, and the people who are watching, to just have some fun. Go buy some mung beans, some organic mung beans, and get a little glass jar or use a glass and put them in the jar and cover them with water. Wait 8 hours, spill the water out, and just pretend they're your child and rinse them a few times a day for 2 or 3 days, and you'll have mung bean sprouts. And then just having houseplants will seem like a breeze.
Okay.
You'll get to eat those mung beans, and it's a lot of raw nutrition that's highly wonderful.
Awesome. I love that. Anybody who's listening, let's do a challenge, a mung bean growth challenge, a mung bean sprout challenge, something like that. We're sprouting everywhere. Awesome. Well, is there any other words of wisdom or love you want to put on our audience today?
I would just say, thank you for inviting me. I love your work. I love your enthusiasm and the joy that you bring, and the questions that you ask people, so that they start to look into themselves and really, you give them the tools to kind of figure out what the next step is towards their, towards their own joy. So, yeah, I would just, thank you. And if you're curious about improving your eyesight naturally, but you're about to sign up, but you're really not quite sure, there's a couple of spots for tomorrow morning, and then we're launching on Sunday, and it's 3 weeks of a lot of fun. So I hope you join me. Thanks.
That's exciting. Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you didn't get to see this live, feel free to watch the replay and put a comment in, #replay. Any thoughts you have on joy, what's getting in the way of you feeling your joy, and any takeaways you have from this interview with Elisa. So bye, everybody, and thank you, and come back soon. You hear?